Let's take a look at pattern 1, which is a compound sentence that uses a semicolon and no conjunction. So basically you have two short, related sentences that are now joined. This takes on the form of a subject-verb combination, followed by a semicolon, and then another subject-verb combination. This pattern helps you join two short, simple sentences having two closely related ideas. They need a semicolon instead of a conjunction and comma for punctuation. The illustration on the previous slide shows only two clauses. However, you can actually have three or more. Be sure to avoid the two pitfalls of the compound sentence. The first is the fused or run-on sentence, which has no punctuation between the two sentences that have been joined, but needs it. The second is the comma splice, which is just as bad, and uses a comma instead of a period, semicolon, or colon to separate the two sentences that you have joined. You avoid the two pitfalls if you faithfully copy the following patterns for compound sentences, being careful to imitate the punctuation exactly. Remember that an independent clause has a subject-verb combination that makes a full statement. What precedes and what follows the semicolon must be capable of standing alone, otherwise it is only a fragment. Here's an example of a fragment. At the game, the reason for the loss in yardage being the broken shoestring on the left guard's shoe. Being is the wrong verb form. Change it to was and the phrase becomes a complete thought and a sentence. Here's another fragment. Which was the only explanation that he could give at that moment. This fragment is a dependent clause even though it has the subject-verb combinations which and he could give. It is not a complete sentence because it begins with the subordinating word which. Change which to it, and you now have a complete thought. Warning: pay attention. What comes next are those words and phrases that keep a clause from being an independent clause. Use these words and you automatically have a dependent clause. Words such as because, if, when, after, and other such subordinating words, when added to a subject-verb combination, keep a clause from being independent. They signal a fragment every time. Here are some common semicolon errors. Because so many of us work 24/7, semicolon. The dance having started at 8:30, semicolon. For example, semicolon. These three errors can easily be corrected. First, use a comma instead of a semicolon. Next, you can finish the idea to make a complete sentence. Finally, you can use the correct form of the verb to make a complete sentence. Be careful to not confuse commas and semicolons. Use this pattern when you have talked about similar ideas in several sentences. If you combine these ideas, you will have a single, more powerful sentence. When revising, look for paragraphs with many short sentences that have parallel ideas and ask yourself, can I combine these sentences to give my message a more forceful impact? Here are a few examples for you to look over. I've also included some professional examples for analysis on the upcoming slides. Study these examples to see how experienced writers handle the various patterns. See how they manipulate word order and punctuation to get their message across and create interest through sentence variety. Don't be afraid to imitate, praise, or criticize these examples. Here's the first professional example. He who knows others is wise. He who knows himself is enlightened. Here's a second example. Singapore has 11,910 people per square mile. Mongolia has only 3. Another professional example is from Will Rogers. My forefathers didn't come over on the Mayflower, they met the boat. Even advertisements will use this pattern. Sign up for our family plan and you can share minutes with our one-rate plan. If you sign up now, you can take advantage of our special rate. That's from Nokia. Finally, newspaper writers use this pattern quite frequently. It made no sense to anyone, it was just style. Once you're comfortable with pattern 1, you can start to vary it. For example, pattern 1A uses a conjunctive adverb or connector, such as however, hence, therefore, thus, then, moreover, nevertheless, likewise, consequently, and accordingly. You still need a semicolon before the connector, but a comma after the connector is optional. Here are a few examples of the 1A pattern. She exercised every day and cut back on her food. However, she didn't lose any weight. This car looks as if it has been wrecked. Therefore, it's not a good buy. For the second variation, pattern 1b, use one of the coordinating conjunctions, which are also connectors: for, and, nor, but, or, yet, or so. You can remember them easily by their first letters and call them fanboys. There are two different pattern options here, as you can see by the diagrams below. Here are some examples. The rain kept falling. Joan saw the roof begin to leak, and she put out a bucket to catch the water. It was the right color, it fit, and it was cheap. Our cat loves to play with the ball. I love to watch her, but sometimes I'm not in the mood to play. I didn't do it. John said he didn't do it, but the vase was certainly broken. In the third variation, pattern 1c, use 2 or more semicolons to connect 3 or more complete sentences. So you have the subject-verb combination, semicolon, subject-verb combination, semicolon, subject-verb combination. Here are some examples of 1c. John got an A. Jenny also got an A. Unfortunately, George got a C. Carmen likes to cook. Janice would rather watch TV. I like to eat Carmen's cooking and watch TV with Janice. Dad is a skinflint. When I ask for a loan, he doesn't listen. Mom isn't any help either. Thank you for watching this short video, and please don't let it get overwhelming. This is a video for the very reason that you can rewind it, pause it, fast forward it, and watch it over again as many times as you need to fit your learning.